Well, there's this thing working. Is it live? I hope it is. There we go. Just waiting for the confirmation. That's all. Hello, sweet corn. Not the first name I was expecting to show up on stream. Sweet corn. Oh no. Oh, I know what this is. It means I need to restart VR chat. Right, that's when I started stream. Okay. Let me go reboot the thing. No, if it happens one more time, I'm gonna go restart the thing. But yes, hello. I'm a little bit under the weather today, as you could tell. But I dare not skip another day of me being here. Sweet corn. I mean, my ears look like it. Hello, darling. Are you eating? I hope you are. I am. I'm on my slow road to recovery. This is day 3 of my debilitation. And usually the flu runs its course in a week or less. I hope it follows that trend. But yes. Again, hello, Fluffy, Matthew. Day 3. Recovery is 78%. Alright. While the stream is still early and it's simmering, I'm gonna go restart VR chat. Oh, okay, let's see. It's doing the hiccups. It's not because of the server, it's just I haven't rebooted it forever. I'm glad you're allowing recovery. Of course. Man. Hello, task manager. Alright, task manager's not happy when I do that. Hello, process lasso. Of course you do, huh? Of course. Now what if we make, let's sort that out. Click that. Do I really need to use my mouse for this? Damn, it's out of reach. Shucks. Yes, I'm stuck. I'm just here to relax at the back. Well, same here. Man, I just missed one day of stream and I already feel like I've been absent the whole week. Can you believe that? Shucks. Let's see if the camera pins are working. Bam, hello. And yes, of course, the dramatic back shot. This is usually the angle I use when I'm trying to say something profound, but it's not fitting of the music, is it? Only Guacamole has subscribed for 9 months. A stream baby indeed. 9 months, huh? Gosh, that's just 3 months short of a year. I was going to make something about, a joke about something about a kid and going through term, but alas, it's. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, Matthew, you can feel free to connect to the Valheim servers because it's still very much running. I do believe Fluffy is. Well, he's gonna reconnect after he prepares his food. I did not turn it off for stream. You should check it out. There's a nice little addition to the outside of the base. It's something very important. Where do you think I am? Fantastic. Keep it up. Level up that lumberjacking. Chop that wood. We'll get on when I'm done eating. Organizing chests. Yes, please. Yes, do your job. Do you like the little tree outside of the base? You know, the one next to the picnic table? Homey, isn't it? I was joking to Fluffy that now because it's winter time with the little lights outside during nighttime, it reminds me of an Antarctic research station. I saw the owl. Yes, that's important. Good morning. I just got off work. Why, thank you for doing your service at your job. You have to pardon me if I'm a little bit less vocabularific today. Just yesterday, was it yesterday or the other day? I think it was yesterday. I was having chills. Imagine 32, 33 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. And then I had to wrap myself under a thick blanket. And I wasn't sweating. And then I was running the course of a high fever. And then today I had a medium fever earlier in the morning, and that subsided over to a light one. And now my constitution is slowly but surely climbing its way back up to healthiness. It sucks, right? The body aches is probably the worst. I remember yesterday I had to shuffle around my apartment. It's like, okay, gotta cook rice. No, never mind. I'll just have soup. You see, taking care of yourself while you're alone, right? You don't have famine, whatnot, is clearly a challenging ordeal. No, hey, big brother, uncle, mom, dad says, is it okay if you buy some medicine for me, please? No, cute and loving person in a maid outfit knocking on your door with a tray filled with lovingly prepared food, ready to be fed to you. We're going to be nursed back to health. No, none of that, unfortunately. And here you are not resting. Hello there, Devil Gap. You see, if I don't stream, right, I am not going to be able to afford healthy food. So here I am. You make effort to support me. I'm thankful for that. So I'm going to make effort in return, of course. It's the least I can do. Don't worry about it. If I'm sick, I wouldn't be live. I tried to sneak in a stream yesterday and the other day, but I clearly just could not. Hmm. Sad. If someone were to show up when I'm ill wearing black and white, I'm going to think I'm dying. I will not take an angel wearing a maid outfit seriously. I would imagine it's the start of a long running adventure romantic comedy. Right? One of those animes. You're too stubborn to die. She's the Grim Reaper. And then, oh, fine. All right, we can delay it or whatever. But you gotta help me with my job. And apparently, she's just an intern in the Grim Reaper, like, Grim Reaping department. And yeah, so she's gotta prove to the higher ups that she's this and that and whatnot. She can't fumble it. Mm. A lemon with cinnamon with honey tea should help. That sounds absolutely good, actually. Honey ginger tea is my go-to whenever I have like throat problems. It's the balm that my body needs. Living alone is scary indeed, says Waffle Car. Once something happens, there's no one to help right away. If I die, I die. So be it. With ginger. Ginger is always good. Even when I'm not sick, I enjoy myself a honey lemon ginger tea. Such a nice, warm, soothing sensation. The aroma, the flavors. There we go. Let's really clear the sinuses. You should make yourself a drink. No, I can. After stream, probably. But for now, we converse. Keeping me company is helping with recovery, if any. You know what else helps with recovery? Nudging this bar. Think of this as my recovery gauge. The more it's blue, the more Gab is back to being his healthy self. Maybe once I'm there, so we can pass the baton off for a few minutes, says Vesper. You take your time with the food, it's okay. Don't worry so much about it. Hmm. Being sick, huh? The last time I got the flu was maybe 2 years ago. That's been a long while. Really has been. It sucks. I have but 1 week left before the end of the month. Oh dear, oh my. We won't let you perish anytime soon, says Waffle. So much to bug you and ask funny questions. I do hope you have a smooth recovery. Of course. Pacing myself in both time and steps when it comes to tasks. What's this? Guacamole says, I realized something the other day. I only get sick when I go to cons now. That's a big reason for me never ever to go to cons. Gosh, you imagine all the floating germs in the petri dishes of, well, the unwashed fursuits that I hear is going around. Odor and bodily hygiene clearly aren't hallmarks to write 5 stars about on cons. Maybe it's masked by the colder temperatures in probably a winter country, but I cannot imagine what it is underneath those suits. Not for me. Maybe for you. Vesper says so many new germs culminating in one place. You're used to the ones in your environment. But the moment something new is there, you have no defenses over it. That's true. Imagine your body being a map of a tower defense game. You have your towers all spec to fight dragons, flying ones. And then all of a sudden you were attacked by gators, armored gators. These are land based targets. Alas, your defenses are unprepared. Cosplay having a mask, huh? Imagine sneezing inside that mask. Gross. Just, shh. What am I gonna do? My mask is full of snot now. Unpleasant. 100%. Airplane rides also have big changes getting you ill, says Waffle. Oh, does it? Surely altitude sickness is something completely different, right? Sick up there in the heights. Vesper says, I used to just have to wash my mask in the bathroom whenever I did that. Wash your Please don't tell me you're using cloth masks. You wear disposable flu masks. You wear it once, you go home, you throw it away, you wear a new one. That's why you always buy it in packs of 100. Never ever reuse a mask the next day. You're sitting on a pool table. Correct. An astute observation, Yakama. Gosh, bit of a quiet day today, isn't it? It must be Wednesday on your side. Hump day. Understandable. Man, it always pays to take care of your health. But sometimes unavoidable things like these just happens. What can we do? It's a disposable one with a cloth over. A double layer, I see. Did you know the cloth actually does nothing to. Yeah, it does not really keep the microbes and whatnot there. Maybe the spit from being airborne, but a tiny portion still gets atomized into the air. Also, is my audio clear, chat? I'm not sure if I'm crackling, crunching, or peaking. You do have to let me know. I'm surprised. I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm keeping quiet. Jinxing it, huh? It's not Karen, so I wouldn't be stuck with this time. Yes. Hello, Gab, streaming while sick. Hello, Mighty Raul. Yes. You see, I'm all for lazing around at home, but if I miss another stream day, I would be absent twice. And if I do that, I might not be able to fulfill my monthly goal. Gosh, missing one stream already is. it, it, it has its hit. But yes, I am on the upward trend of recovery for my flu at least, so I have enough strength to show up here. Besides, being all cooped up here in my apartment underneath the sheets is doing me no good. I might as well converse with people that I know I won't get sick, nor they would get me sick in turn. And that's between your screen and me. You need to be resting. I consider this my rest. I'm not outside running around buying groceries or doing chores in the apartment. I am but simply sitting with a headset atop my face. Isolation by technology. Ooh, yep. Speaking of which, I wonder where my regulars are. Fluffy and Howler and the drive-through, of course, playing in the dedicated server I have running. What's this? So the flu illness came from temperature. I don't know. The one I can think of was sometime last week I went outside to deliver things. And I do believe that's where I may have picked up this nasty bug plaguing my system. It clearly is doing me no favors. Hello, Leighton. He went outside. Oh my goodness, Gab actually getting sunlight on his skin. Yes, I did go outside. I'll be sure that he gets a nap in after stream. Not sleepy though. Yes. Understandably so, I'm a bit of a germaphobe, Chad. Each time I go out, and then I see some passerby just they're coughing, right? I somehow get that microscopic view that you see in the commercials, right? And then you see all the germs and the pathogens just being spewed in the air and then contaminating my system. It's like, maybe I go, maybe I stay home. Yuck. A shower every day does you wonders, Chad. Especially washing your hands. Whenever you go shake hands with a stranger, especially if they're male, those hands of theirs, at least one hand of theirs, is 90% surely have come into contact with a certain thing, like a baby's arm holding an apple. Oh, I'll take it easy after stream, lad. Of course. So how's it going to be a plague carrot? You see, Beth, lucky I am but self-isolating at home. Nobody else to infect. Maybe my cat. He did sneeze on my hand earlier. But yes, greetings, Beth. Ah, man. I can't believe I missed a day of stream. Washing your hands, hand sanitizer, and all that. I don't want to get sick. Same here. You see, I always have that little spray bottle that you attach via keychain, right? You go, yes, it's important. It's really important. Imagine just saying hello or shaking hands with strangers who's done the same to many other people on the same day. Like, hi, yes. And then you look at your hands and see the microscopic billions of unwanted things on it that's slowly permeating your skin. No, you commit bacterial genocide by spraying it with sanitizer. Psst, psst. Yes. It's always a gamble which hand you shake with, dude. I know. And look, man. You know how when guys go take a pee, right? They go to the urinal, they stand up, they unzip. What does the hand hold? Obviously. You don't aim a shotgun without with just one hand, you know. But you get what I mean. Not to wear gloves 24/7. Oh, I would if I could. Unfortunately, it's so darn humid in my country. It's gonna make me dehydrate via my hands. He sweats a lot. Beth says, I'm not following. The powers that be made me sick, and now it's everyone's problems mentality. Yeah. I don't know, Beth. I couldn't even get grocery. For the past 3 days, I've been living off like 2-month-old frozen food in my freezer. Specifically for instances like this. I save the most bland, the crappiest, and the worst cuts choice of food, shove it in the freezer, and say, you know what, I'm gonna eat that if and when I get sick. And now is that time. And boy oh boy, you lacking a sense of smell, a diminished sense of taste, and bland food is not an enjoyable experience. Yeah. But oh well. Again, I still have to stream though. Okay. We gotta work on that magic blue gold, chat. It's just we're 1 week away and I'm getting really anxious. Thank goodness I preemptively went to the pharmacy and bought some. It's called BioFlu, right? It's flu medicine. That's why I keep a month of cheap ramen. So I have like a month's worth too. A little bit of corned beef, some sardines, some canned tuna, a lot of instant noodles just in case it gets really bad. But yeah. Hello. How do I even read your name? Hayden Jekko. Gab not being able to taste fried chicken, absolutely zero. I mean, a little bit, like 10% of the taste goes through. But the rest, mm-mm. Unfortunate. Zayden. Got it. God. Lucky enough. The past 2 days of me being ill, I have been graced with the company of friends, at the very least. I may not be able to go out and whatnot, but luckily Discord is just there for ease of access with, the people that matter. I remember when I was sick before as a child. Mom would go into my room, tuck me in my bed, say I shouldn't go out, say I shouldn't use the computer, and then she would make me drink the medicine in a tablespoon. It was really bitter stuff, nasty. Ah. And then I would just be there, lying down, just staring at the ceiling. I didn't have a smartphone back then. Nothing. Chat. I was quite literally listening to the sound of wind outside my window. I didn't even have my TV on. Having a better day today. It's improving. I have to go to stream, Howler. Maintaining stream consistency for me is one of those goals I'm trying to achieve. Besides, Howler, no stream, no food on the table. And we can't have that. So, yeah. Thank you for caring, though. How sweet of you guys. Hey, Kev, feeling any better? If yesterday was glowing white hot, I am now well on moving to the blues and the oranges. The high fever has probably already passed. It's done its worst yesterday. Now I woke up to a medium fever, and now all I have is but a light fever, a stuffy nose, a runny throat, a cough, a mild headache, and body aches and fatigue. Hmm, sounds like an average Thursday to me. And I'm sure many of you are going through something way worse. I feel like it's not really my place to complain when I'm sick. Hello, Night. Oh, is that all? Yes. I'm still waiting for that experimental serum that you are to develop to make the bad go away. Nah, meh, made by art. Fever is the bad trying to burn away the illness, right? That's why it's probably compelling me to go wrap myself like a burrito in already sizzling weather. Gotta keep medicine stock. Yes, I always make sure I have medicine because you don't want to run into the situation, guys. Like when you're sick is when you have to go out and buy medicine. Terrible. Especially going to a pharmacy that's a little far off and then you have to go fall in line. Whew. Yeah, no. Bad idea. Zayden says, my mom worked in the hospital before, and when she saw me sick, she will always say drink more water. Which is true. You hydrate, you let your water, your system do what it needs with the water. Circulate, cleanse the bad stuff, wash it away, flush it away. Yeah. Medicine, you mean vodka. You gotta keep the whiskey nearby. You know what's funny, Beth? I actually sometimes seek alcohol whenever I feel like I've ate something bad. Yeah, under the theory of if I ingest a high enough alcohol content, it will sterilize whatever's in my tummy that went bad. Yeah, a bit of common sense, right? Dihydrogen monoxide. Fancy words. Good enough for battlefield appetite. Right, right. It has its sets. And I'm sure I've run into an old man or two who swears by the power of alcohol contributing to his longevity. Make you drunk enough to care less. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of being smashed. It's probably from my bad experience of having hangovers after. The headaches. Meeting up with representatives from Honda in a business meeting the day after. Unadvisable, chat. After that, I said, I'm not gonna drink myself like blacked out again. Oh, the vomiting clearly happened. Apparently, I was unconscious when it occurred, and all 18 hot dogs I ingested as my drinking meal apparently found its way back outside into the bathroom floor, which I promptly was sleeping on. And when I woke up, because I have long hair, my hair was sticking up like this because it hardened from the concoction that I was sleeping on. Yeah, both good and funny times. Yeah, you gotta have limits. Just sometimes very easy to pass. Oh, trust me. When I drink in moderation, really. Some sake here, rice wine there, maybe an offered beer here, or whatever is in a teeny tiny shot glass from that beautiful lady across the bar. Not yes. Not much of a drinker, but it doesn't mean I don't. The bathroom was the best case scenario. It clearly was, wasn't it? Imagine if I did that over at my bed. Not only do I have to clean off myself, but my sheets as well. I don't even want to imagine the amount of work I had to do. I on 100% as well, Beth. Definitely don't ask anyone else. Moderation is key. Yeah, moderation is key. I have a little bit of soju there, just waiting for me. Hmm. Still have yet to find a good time or reason to imbibe in some. That says I absolutely hate vomiting. I avoid it at all costs. The worst is when you puke, right? You vomit and it comes out of your nose. From the sheer pressure, you're not able to divert it out of your mouth, but from your two nostrils instead. Vesper says, I'm not huge on drinking. Never been drunk, don't plan to ever be. Never had anything past a curious sip. If there's any advice my uncle gave me is, if you are going to get drunk, be in company that you trust. Never around friends or like acquaintances. Unless you really know them. Like, especially if you're a girl. And your company are... No, that's it. Especially if you're a girl. I have a friend, right? So he went on a company outing. Like, I think it's a company retreat or something on the beach. And he was working in a call center. Of course, there was drinking involved and whatnot. Um, so he maybe have consumed too much. Just woke up the next day wondering what happened. And then apparently the gay dudes, his gay co-workers, were now starting to give him funny smirks and glances and hee-hee-hees and ha-ha-has. And glancing him up and down. And he's like, "What did you guys do?" I said, "No, nothing, nothing. We're all men anyway, sleeping in the same." Though I will spare you the details, but stuff. Let's just say I don't want to be in that situation. Oh yeah. Be careful who you. Be careful who you drink around with. What's this? Nord says I had few too many ones, vomited in the street outside where I was lived back then. The acid burnt the pavement and still there to this day. Congratulations on marking your territory. Why, if it isn't Mystic, hi there. Mystic says, Gebo, how are you feeling? Got some medicine ready? I have been consuming my medicine every 6 hours as prescribed. I'm recovering. The worst has passed, thank goodness. And here I am streaming. Not perfect, but present all the same. And that's smart, Vesper. Now, Bev says, I remember when I got really bad day drinking at college. My computer died that had my projects. Ooh. Throwing up in a fast food parking lot was not a good memory. Projectile vomiting. Ooh. Thank goodness Axiom wasn't there. Gosh, oh gosh, what is playing? And so Sidon is apparently from Malaysia, I see. Alright, alright. I see. What is with the music? This ain't in my playlist. Kinda. Kinda. Kinda works, but this is the Song of Laws. Damn. Let's add that to my playlist. There we go. Back to our usual tunes. Now, where were we? Whoa. Mystic says, I drink around family and close friends only. I keep it at home, so if I fall asleep, I'm safe. Excellent idea. Don't drink outside unless you're prepared for things to happen. Ah, look. There's only ever really two reasons. I people go drink outside, the safety of their own home, right? With company that's not their immediate family. One is to forget their problems, or two, become a problem for others. What's this? Do my eyes deceive me? No, it's me. Gebus. I clearly still have a bit of the sickness debilitating me, but alas, we are here live. Hmm? What, did you not want me to go live? Or are you perchance saying, you miss me? Oh my goodness. But here I was accompanying you in your little shopping trip earlier, wasn't I? You even had to get that Worcestershire sauce. Worcester sauce. Worcester. Leon parents. There we go. Art says, I remember one time I was at a New Year's party and I needed to puke. And the girl that was hosting was concerned when I went to the bathroom because she was worried about the mess. My friend told her, "Oh, that's Art, don't worry about him." She rushed in after her in concern. I heard behind me, "Did you clean in there?" I had indeed wiped down everything and organized the counter. Oh, that's embarrassing. Mm-mm. Like, imagine soiling somebody's pristine bathroom. Yes, exactly that. Exactly that what, Let's make it clear. I can't quite pick up words as clear as I want to due to my head being really stuffy from from being sick. Who wouldn't clean up, right? Who wouldn't clean after? You always should. Oh. But yeah, aside from that, how are you guys doing? What's going on in your day? Yes, that includes you, lurkers. I see you. Lots of names there in the back, just quietly watching. Asking, oh, this streamer is sick. Why is he still streaming? Is this the guy I keep on seeing on that social media website? Always yapping and yapping. Hmm. Yes, you lurkers. Hello. There's a chance to say hello. It's a prompted one, right? The special sauce from Worcestershire. Yes, made by lean parents. Music says, drunk me will only listen to those I trust 100%. Anyone else, I would heavily impolitely tell them to mind their own business and be quiet. That's still you being polite. Mind your own business. Hello, Mitzi. Have you been getting enough rest? Surely, I hope you have. I love spending time on the social media website.com. Right? Ain't it fantastic? That magical place where we selectively put our heavily curated posts and happenings about our lives, and it has only gotta be positive things to show that we're successful and doing great. That's so funny. I'm looking at my relatives' Facebooks, and it's always just them posing with a car they bought, or like going out on beach trips, or taking pictures of coffees, and like, really, that's life. Are you gonna keep streams short today so you can rest again, or not really? That would depend. If this bar magically moves prior to 2 hours and a half, yes, I will take the advice, the good route, and rest. Probably keep stream to an hour and a half tops. But if it doesn't, well, I have to keep on working hard until it does. There. And my time limit is 2 hours and a half. I missed stream last time. It's yeah. I gotta catch up. You see, streaming is sort of like fishing, right? But instead of you simply holding the rod, you yourself also acts as the lure, the line, the subtle little movements to see if anybody bites. And I ain't gotta keep on fishing.
We're not drinking garlic milk.
And you know what? First of all, Thank you, Anonym. Anonym meows. There, I said it. The garlic honey milk, is actually something I'd like to try. Right? It's not something I'd be averse to because if anything, garlic alongside with ginger and whatnot, these things are good for your throat.
Don't push yourself and make it worse.
Shit. Sorry. I could use some of that. Beth, thank you. Oh my. I'm being bribed to stop. Uh, no, wait. I set the conditions. I'm not being bribed. Ah, ah, ah. But, I. You know how hard it is to stop a cough, right? You're trying your best not to. Just the itch on your throat. It just grasping, claws its way up until it starts to become the cough. That's what I've been doing since earlier, suppressing it. That's not working great. But if you had something nice and herby to drink, either pepakwa, honey, garlic, ginger tea, or the no honey lemon ginger tea, or the garlic thing that Howler said, then yes.
Good luck holding that fishing rod.
Oh, and what's this? We got a catch. We got a 25 centimeter ard. Ooh. Mm, thank you, Art. I appreciate it. My gosh, a scientist funding me. Shouldn't it be the opposite? Scientists are the ones who receive all the funding. And if they don't, right, their passion project gets rejected or axed by the government, and then they get shut down. Right, collect all your things in 3 days, and then that's when they turn the villain arc. Right, they pursue. They want it to happen regardless. The whole "I'm going to prove you wrong" sort of deal. Wow, I ran out of breath saying that. Hmm. Even storytelling is difficult to do continuously, huh? Alright, because of Anonymous, Beth, and Ards, and everybody else's generosity, I'll I'll keep things short. 1 hour and a couple of minutes. Yeah. I don't just want to grab your coins and run. Right? I tipped 69 for $20. All right, that's the end of stream chat. Bye bye. No. Art's like, they called me crazy. I'll show them who's crazy. Yes, exactly. And then you attach an apparatus into your spine with like four prehensile AI empowered arms. Ran out of breath because your lungs are filled with gunk, Lizard Man. Maybe I'm just a guy who's full of crap, right? Not enough space for air to breathe. Lit says, I used to have a coworker who ate a couple of cloves of raw garlic in the morning because his partner was sick. Safe to say, it was not very pleasant to stand near him. You know, garlic smells absolutely amazing when sauteed with butter or oil and rice. But on its own and you chew it, have you ever had somebody be an avid consumer of shawarma, right? Or kebabs with the authentic ones because that's a heavily garlic yogurt sauce mix. Then smell their bread. I wouldn't say it smells bad, it just smells strong. Hello, fish chat. Dr. Artopus, yes. You see, Ard's gonna have 5 arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 here in the middle. So there's like no copyright infringement going on. Garlic bread. Garlic on black bread is so nice as well. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Couple, says Mitzi. Hmm. Vesper says, garlic is not good on the bread. Hell, sometimes people would just in general smell like garlic after eating it, like my twin, for example. Are you telling me whatever chemicals is in the garlic gets absorbed into your skin and then you start becoming garlic? Ooh. I'm a big fan of onions, Chad. Red onions, white onions especially, chopped, diced, mixed into an omelette, put on top of a sandwich. I love onions. It's got this nice crunchy texture. It's mildly sweet with just enough spice and sour. I said sour in it. Caramelized onions, onion rings. Mmm. Heck, even just onions and tomatoes skewered, like in a kebab. Uh, I could go for some right now. Sounds really good. Alright, so you can basically guarantee someone will compliment the way your cooking smells just by sauteing some onion and garlic on the stove. That's absolutely correct. It's the smell of breakfast here in the Philippines. You see, here, the most common breakfast meal we have is essentially garlic fried rice, and then some salted fish, or some sausages, some local sausages. We call them longanisa. Oh, and then some sunny side egg. There, sunny side up egg. Ah, you just hear it in the morning. Your mom cooking on the wok, like the sizzling of the rice, the smell of the garlic. Oh, so good. The special fried rice that flows in our veins. Correct. Do you prefer savory or sweet breakfast? Here in the it's a mix really. I think I'll lean more on sweet. So what's happening to my? There we go. You see, in the Philippines, most of the meats we have is actually sweet by default. We have this cured meat called tocino, right? It's like pork meat that's cured until it's extremely tender and sweet and juicy. And it's just so good. And we have that for breakfast. It's essentially like candied pork. It's like ham, but way softer. And then, as for the sweetness itself, breakfast is usually accompanied by coffee with creamer and sugar, brown, or yeah, it's predominantly coffee here. Not for me, no. Okay, maybe if I see the coffee, I'll have some. It's too good to say no. There's not gonna be an extra 15 minutes of food talk. Worries, Mitzi. I kid, of course, sickness caused her rest. 1 hour and a half tops. I'm gonna just cut the stream once it reaches that. Oh. Yellow onion, red or silver? I don't think I've tried any yellow onions. Only the red one, which is very common here, and then the white one, Lord. I think I'm more of a fan of the white one. Can't exactly use red onions on the sandwiches and burgers, right? Vesper says it's something to do with gene expression. So while said twin will smell like garlic, they're not becoming garlic. The smell is just coming from their sweat as a result. I know I'm exaggerating. White onion is silver onion. White, silver, they seem visually the same, and they're definitely much larger though. One of the delights I enjoy whenever I go grocery shopping, I go to the supermarket, right? It's going to the produce section, and then I see the little nets of onion. Bring them home, and then I am excited to turn it into an omelette. I'm a big fan of onion, tomato. No, yeah, that's it. Just a onion, tomato omelette. And then I cook it not so much. I keep my omelettes runny. Oh, it's so good. It's nice and creamy. Just put it over rice. Have some ketchup on the side. Lovely. I usually eat 6 eggs at a time. You see, that sounds bad on paper now that I think about it. Mm, but yeah, eggs. Probably something I haven't discussed on stream, huh? Yeah, being a fan of eggs. What are you, a weasel? Egg is egg, pretty expensive. Really? Eggs are super cheap here. Like two less than $2 for a dozen of large chicken eggs. I usually get the ones that are colored brown. And lizards like eggs. Oh, I know what you're talking about. This lizard just crawls up to the nest and starts to eat all of the eggs. Can't blame them though. Egg is delicious. It's delicious. They come conveniently packaged, right? Can cook them and prepare them in a multitude of ways. Oh no. Need to find chicken friends in VR so I can. They can subly. What subly? Supply some eggs for you. I don't think I am so keen in eating unfertilized eggs from a friend of mine. Like, you do know that came from your butt, right? I would tell them. Right? Imagine just having an avian friend and then leaving a basket with you, and it's like, oh, hey, thanks, what's this? And it's like, oh, don't worry about honey, it's just some of my unfertilized eggs. You have it for breakfast, okay? I was like, um, thanks, yeah. So, yeah. When you enter the conversation at the room, welcome, Howler. I do not wish to eat my friend's eggs. Is not a sentence I expected to hear today. I'm simply speaking the truth, though. I would not want to eat a still warm egg that came from inside a friend. Hey, free breakfast. You know what? I might try at be hesitant at first. I will stink at its nutrition. But the thought of your friend like sh- taking a crap just to give you the eggs in the basket is not a good thought to have as you are cooking it over some butter and whatnot. I think walking into the egg conversation versus the vomiting. Hey, the vomiting though was very much relatable, and it happens to people that overconsume, does not know the word moderation. Yes, in moderation, I hear you, Beth. I'm not gonna stream for too long. I already hit 1 hour. Expensive here in the States, replies Vesper to the prices of eggs. Especially for a family of five in comparison to prices in the previous years. Oh, I think the whole world is suffering through some form of economical shenanigans. Everything 10 years ago was at least just half the price here, or less. That is a funny name. Joe the Magical Weed Wizard. I think you are a magical presence a lot of people would welcome into their homes. Think about it. Have you seen unwashed chicken eggs? Just fresh, laying in the box, right? You see the white eggshell, and then there's specks of not eggshell on it. That would probably be the same coming from your friend. If it was fresh. Uh, ee. I keep on thinking about it. Hmm. Hold on, let me out that real quick. Surprise, surprise. Despite my conversation being on the more gross side of things today and my flu went self. I get it, flu went. I surprisingly have a large audience. Greetings, everyone. I'm Gib. I'm not usually sick. This is very rare. I'm ending stream in 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm gonna hop off VR. Maybe. I I still have to do some chores. There's I need to collect some wood, pay a certain deer a visit, and then yeah, that's something about bronze and tin. Mhm. Okay, gotta run. Take care of yourself. Get some rest. Thank you for dropping by, Art, and for the support. It means a lot, really. Uh, Imagine your friends wanting to make you feel better. What? Oh, body pains, aches. Mm, mm, mm. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Yes. What's this? What? Apparently, this is Gebus' cinema. It's true, though. Look, listen, Ard's not here, but the story about me ingesting the 18 hot dogs was because all we blew all our money on the drinks, right? It was Jack Daniels Double Black, and all I had on my freezer that time was okay. I have a whole pack of hot dogs. Let's just toss it into boiling water real quick and put it on a plate and be done. That's it. And I ended up consuming pretty much the entire thing. I like your avatar. The smoke effects are super cool. Now we are talking about the minty freshness of my breath. Thank you. The lizard needs to relax after the stream. That's true. I also need to check on how my house Espil is doing. Hmm. The other one is still studying, but I'm sure to see him in the plantation after. I'm sorry. It's a base in a certain game I'm playing. Speaking of drinking water, I'm surprised nobody has redeemed the hydrate, so I shall self hydrate. And if you're confused about what I just said, good, be confused. Toss a fish to the house aspect. Oh, don't worry. This one is ever so generous. Of course, he's going to reward his hard workers. Why won't this bottle close? There we go. What? Stretch. Look at that beautiful warm sun, the breeze, the simulated everything that I cannot feel, so it's not actually beneficial to my health. Ain't it so nice? Wow. Let's stare at it and pretend that I'm thinking of something important and it's actually helping me with my sickness, yes. All that virtual vitamin D. Was it D? The one you get from the sun? Or was it B? I don't remember. Sun, never heard of her. Oh no, Waffle, that's not good. Hmm. It's strange. I only have 27 minutes remaining. I feel like I barely started streaming. Maybe it's because I haven't been live in a while. That's why. That's probably it. Hey, Geb, did you see my suggestion on the Discord? Which one, Nord? Hey, winter steals the sun away. Good morning, Cinder. Hi, hi. How you doing? Just going through a bit of a flu, but we are in the recovery phase of it, and greetings. I can't stream as long though. Yes, the masses insist I focus on rest instead. How you doing? Are we like 5.07 now? Hmm. You know what's funny? Recently, I saw while I was doom scrolling on Facebook, they were trying to showcase a product line, right? It was sneakers that gave you an extra 3 inches of height just by wearing them, and it was an inconspicuous thing. Ugh, imagine. They called it amazing and life changing, and I'm almost 6 feet tall with them, Don. I call it a walking hazard, imbalanced, and yes, you're sick. You can't make fun of me. What? Are you here to make me feel better? Oh, so professional EMT. Then again, my sickness isn't exactly an emergency, right? This is a bit of the flu. F says, wait, I no longer have to wear boots to make myself 6 feet. Yeah, it's the sneakers. It's it's kind of cool how it works. It's like really thick sole, but when you look at it from the outside, it looks completely normal. Mm. Wait, I thought you were 6 feet tall, Bear. You're not? Sneaky sneakers, precisely. Sneaky Snickers. Sneakers. Hmm. Oh, please, 5'11", just short enough so the girls. That's where you round things off, right? You just tell them that, oh yeah, yeah, 6 feet, and then you do this gesture, right? So legally, you did the thing that kinda around 6 feet, but 5'11" and 6'1" would be the height in like that's around 6 feet in the middle. The girls don't want it. Well, well, well. Talk about somebody who's a sight for sore eyes. Come on, come sit here. Yep, that's Vesper chat. Means there you go. Now Vesper can take over the remaining 1 hour of the stream. Yes. You did an absolutely stellar job before, right? Whoops. Hold on. That's not where the camera should focus on.
I mean, I can try. My Wi-Fi is not exactly being the most stable.
Nah, I'm joking. We shall honor our word and just remain here for the next 1 hour and 18 minutes there. Yes. Hello, chat. This is Vesper. There's the camera.
Hello?
So yes. At least one of us isn't sick in this room. Hello,
Yeah.
Vesper and Gabas. Yes. Hmm. Oh, you're move forward like 6 inches.
Yeah, if I can tab back in, sorry.
Technical.
As I've said, my internet's not cooperating.
No problem. I work for the government. I can't true. But you can be like wordy about it, right? It's the same thing. Wordy and convoluted. As verbally inconvenient with the descriptions about the truth of something. My suggestion was Beat Saber. What? You want to see me go do that? It is a little funny. Sick Gab making the class now snort and the sickness sounds. Don't get the flu. Oh, nah, she's tough.
Nah.
Wow, you are super forward. Hey, weren't you sick? Yes, I am. But that doesn't stop me from going live now. Because I recovered enough to be able to go keep you guys company today. And also because I cannot skip another day of stream or else this thing might not get filled up by the end of the month. And then I'm gonna be Aladdin. I'm getting there. I'll probably be back to proper health in 2 days, by estimation. Maybe. Or at least by this weekend, Sunday. That's the hope and that's the goal. Time for you
Maybe
to
you
hide.
do take a nap after.
So everybody insisting I take a nap like I'm a toddler.
No, it's not just because you're not a toddler. It's just resting helps
Yep, go to bed.
recover.
Yes, I will gauge myself like the responsible adult
Gauge
that I
yourself
am.
afterwards.
I
Yeah.
will. Okay, no worry.
He knows how to handle himself, so you don't have to remind him like a toddler, okay?
Yep. If the bar does not get filled, I will be Aladdin. We do not want to be Aladdin. Or do we want to be Aladdin? You know, it's just the same. Wait. Oh, I get it now. It's either I'm Aladdin or Aladdin. 10 minutes later, you see Geb in Unity. No, of course not. It's not like I'm doing anything technical right after stream or 5 hours prior, like troubleshooting a server. No,
Sure.
it's all for you guys. Unity
Thank you.
work is banned. It's Shit. Yeah, I don't worry. No Unity. Do you ever use Gravity Sketch, Geb? Not that I know of. Oh my god, what's Gravity Sketch? What is this?
I can Google it.
Of course you want to Google. No, so here's the funny thing, Beth. I finished all the server work prior to stream, so you guys can tell me. The only thing left for me after stream, really, is rest and recuperation in
Oh,
Valheim.
okay.
That's what we're gonna do, yes. I might get the name wrong. It's a VR modeling program, if correct. I see. Beth, all you need to do is download the profile, import it, and that's it. I tried to make it as simple as possible for everyone. I've squashed 2 problems. 1, the VRM's not appearing correctly because the shaders was overriding the standard shaders that was being used in Valheim. 2, I may have found the culprit for the atrocious performance that we were getting. It's also listed there in the guide, among other things. Yes. And 3, don't ever use Vulkan. Texture errors and everything. That's what I spent 3 hours and a half trying to solve. Oh, Vesper very much knows about this.
Yep. Not to
So-
mention it kept crashing on my system.
But yeah, so each time I swung my sword and there's a trail, right? Like the trail that follows after, it would be pink. Oh no, stop it! I'm not sleepy. I'm opening Firefox. There we go. That's waking me up. I'm looking at the first row. Never mind. The first row of VR chat, half of them are censored. The second is even more. Oh, whoa, we're in the second row. What? That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Let's see if there's anybody else looking fantastic. Okay, maybe 30 minutes. Second row. And it wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for you guys, really. Thanks for sticking around, chat. I'm glad I'm entertaining to a degree. Hmm. Also, there's Vesper to boost the views by 33%.
Are you sure about that? Because
Fine, 66%. I'm being more generous.
I was gonna say it's more you. It's more you.
Hold on. Can we both fit in the same frame? There we go. To have nice anime girl hair, you automatically look high fidelity.
Yes.
Yeah. Get busy right, Vesper. If it weren't for you meddling kids. No, please meddle some more. Let's keep it to that. Actually, you know, I wouldn't know how to handle it if I were to have 150 viewers plus, and then everybody's chatting. I'm gonna start reading, and then I would feel bad because I would miss most of the messages. Then again, I'm all for quality over quantity. I've told this many times before in my streams. How do I make this sound wise? The place may be quiet. At least the people is good. Instead of like having a restaurant that's bustling with life and whatnot, but that's because you're running a fast food chain, hence that's why foot traffic is very high. Read quicker. I would need to take notes from Axel if I were to try reading faster. That guy speaks at times 2 speed, naturally. In fact, I often find myself asking him to politely slow down, like, hold on, slow down. Have you ever watched the streamer XQC? You know, little soy boy, babbling, quick mouth sort of guy. Yeah, Axel is essentially XQC. So, I suppose I gotta go soon, huh? Yeah, I know. Bring back Axel QC. That's what I'm going to do. Axel just talks in fast forward. Yeah. You see, for example, I'm going to say the sentence, right? And then I'm going to say it in Axel's way of speaking. Hey, I managed to get the character into the server. Thank you for giving me the instructions. I'm glad I got it working. Axel would go like, oh, I managed to get the character into the server. I managed to get it working. Thank you so much for making the guide. It's like he moves so fast. Like his mouth flaps so fast.
I mean, he's not an only child, so he's probably used to having to get whatever he needs to say out as fast as possible, like I used to do.
I have 3 siblings too.
Not every sibling has the whole decency to let you actually talk, though. So normally, say in my case, I would have to, oh hey Dad, could you do, you know? Because sometimes I can't even get anything in otherwise.
Okay. No, like that's valid. That's completely fair. What's this? Hello, Rongo. Wolf says, I had 4 older sisters. Never had time to talk. The only guy amidst four women growing? Oh, yeah. Good luck, buddy. Do your siblings know you're a furry or streams on Twitch? In all honesty, I haven't been able to speak to them. My sister I haven't spoken to in over 10 years. My brother, we haven't seen each other in 8. So, I haven't really been able to tell them much about my life. But it's not something I would hide, really. Why be ashamed about it? By all means, you can go look at my social media, you can look at all my videos, you can see what I do, and I won't be ashamed about what I am. Right? Why? Because chat, unlike most, I am not cringe. Right?
I mean, there's nothing to really be ashamed of, anyways. 'Cause you're just a wholesome streamer, no 18 plus content, no, jiggling around on the screen. Just
Precisely.
sitting
Chat.
here talking.
I am what you'd call a socially acceptable presentation. I've heard it's okay to be cringe. But then again, by the nature of being called cringe, it means you want to hide it because it's cringe, right? It's something you're ashamed of. Me, no, not really. I take pride in what I do. I know I'm doing my best in my craft, and I'm learning and growing from it with each and every single day that comes. I'm not simply here as a furry to don on a suit and toss myself in a hotel and go snuggle up with other suitors and all that other bad reputation crap that you see in social media. No, I'm trying to show the world that being a furry can be more than just that we're actual normal people. Not all of us wear striped socks and whatnot, and the cliches. Maybe I just like this form, right? And very much underneath, I'm still a regular old guy. Most people assume furries are all the same, really, and it doesn't help that they have traits that reinforce this misconception. No, it's not a misconception. It is a perception, rather, because it's true for the majority. And whenever somebody is vocal about it, like me, I'm the vast minority among furries, right? They say, oh no, you'll eventually turn and become this and that. And no, I make jokes here and now and here and there, but it's because I'm an adult.
I mean, heck, I'm a lady. I'm not into the whole snuggle stuff or the boops or the pets. I'm not a dog.
Yeah, precisely.
I mean, if you do that to a lady out in public, you're gonna get yourself slapped.
It's more of that. A lot of people forget about consent, right? Consent. Just because you're in the fandom doesn't automatically mean your boundaries are the same as everybody else. Biggest mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, consent and comfort, that's all. Listen, if you are with the crowd that does what I'm doing and they're okay with it, I have no problem at all with it. But if you're a stranger, again, that walks up to me and does all that and say, oh, but you're a furry, honey. That's what we do here. No, and no. Personal space, consent, and respect. Is that so hard to uphold? We can still be friends after we have that foundation laid out. And then once we become comfortable with each other, then let the jokes and everything roll out. My friends know this very much. Very, very well. I just find it irksome how people excuse this behavior under the guise of being friendly. you're being intrusive. Gosh.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't really like people being intrusive. And it's why there's sometimes some people with badges if they're fursuiting. It's like, okay, hugs, no hugs, scritch, don't scritch, you know?
Yeah.
But even then, some people will ignore that. So, like, I wouldn't want to be touched by an absolute stranger. I don't think anyone else would.
Precisely. Hey, disclaimer though, not once have I said that everybody or every furry has to be like me. No, I just do what I do, right? And I state what I observe. You do you, chat. If it works out for you and the people around you, then great. You have your set of morals and I have mine. I have my own clear boundary and so do you. Thank you, Nord. The whole part of well, there's that. And just like that, we're at an hour and a half. Do I really have to go? Yes, I do. That means I have to see you on what? Friday. Maybe I could rest, maybe, or I could. No, I have to. I have to go live. Excuse me. As you can see, I still have a bit of a cough, and my throat is still not the best. So probably keeping on talking and talking will most definitely exacerbate my condition. So I'm gonna be smart, and I'm gonna go skedaddly do, right? My apologies if I sounded a bit mean. It's just my throat being hoarse, okay? Come on, let's do the Vesper Cam. You start with the goodbyes.
Oh, okay. There's the camera. Bye, chat. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and be sure to eat and sleep plenty. Bye-bye.
See you around, chat. Thanks for joining me in today's short stream. And congratulations on showing me a way. Showing me a way with your love and care. Beth Ard, Anonymous, and everybody else who subbed. Thank you so much. I'll see you again day after tomorrow, hopefully. And hopefully I also am improved. If not completely fixed. Hello, Salis. My goodness. How you doing? No worry. Let's do that. Rest you too, Mitzi. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. And good night. I'll catch you around, chat. See you Friday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.